All right, guys, welcome back to another one. Welcome back to an update on Project Shinigami. And as you can see, I got some more parts in. So I wanted to give you guys an update. I wanted to touch base on where I was with the project and kind of how things were going. Not only with this one, but if you guys haven't seen my channel, I have another project car. I have the Miata, which is Project 7 Leafs, which is another one that's kind of based on Initial D also. My R32, which is Project Shinigami. And if you're new to my channel, I try and cover just about everything. So I'm always out at Cars and Coffee. I'm doing interviews, car reviews, track reviews, all that kind of good stuff. So if you're new to my channel, welcome. Check out my other stuff. If you like what I do, please hit that subscribe, hit that notification. If you've been with me a while, hi guys. Thanks. No, seriously, thank you for all your support and everything else. So, if you guys haven't followed along with my R32 project, or if you just don't remember because it has been a while, sorry. I got an R32 GTR. I checked it out. Everything seemed good. I drove it around on the street a little bit. Took it to the track as a shakedown to see, how things would go, and proceeded to lose the oil pump and seize the engine. So that kind of catches you up with what happened. So if you guys are new to my channel or you just didn't remember, that was a little catch up of what's getting us to what you see in front of me right now. So since then, if you guys don't remember, you're new, I did get a HKS 2.8 stroker kit. I was honored enough with HKS to be able to go out and pick up my big single turbo in person from HKS in Japan, which that was so cool. That's another video. So if you guys want to see that, got to do all the demo cars, got to see all the demo cars and everything like that. That was just an incredible day. And HKS has been super helpful with everything. So thank you to them. Now, just to kind of get it out there, I'm not being paid for this. I didn't get any of these parts for free or anything else. So my choice in parts was due to a bunch of research, people I talked to, and in some cases just something I wanted to try. So what you see here in front of me is for the most part my newest run of parts, and it also should be the last big items I need to really get the car put back together. So right now it's still ripped apart, engine's still apart, block's still separate, everything else. But this was kind of the last run of parts that I needed to get things going. So I'll show you what I got on the table. Again, it's a lot of really good stuff, a lot of high quality, and good companies. So I guess we'll just start over here. A lot of this is all by the same company. This is all PRP or Platinum Racing products. If you guys don't know, they're based out of Australia. You know how the Australians are. They're absolutely crazy when it comes to RB stuff. They're crazy when it comes to power and everything else. And it's the absolute best crazy you could be about cars. So I decided to go with a handful of their products. One of the things, if you guys aren't familiar with PRP, is they do a ton of research and development on their parts. And one of the things that not only drew me to them, one, when you watch any of the GTRs or the RB builds in Australia, that like I said, they always make a ton of power. They're always crazy fast and everything else. And it's not just their straight line cars, it's their time attack cars, it's everything, that they do out there. But if you guys haven't spent time on PRP's website, what you'll find is as you go down each under each one of their parts lists and everything else, or if you look them up on YouTube, what you'll find is as you scroll down, they'll literally have a video, and the video will be super technical, but technical in a good way. And it's kind of one of those technicals where you just like, you go to watch it and you go down the rabbit's hole and you spend an hour or more and you're like, oh, I didn't ever know that about whatever it was, but now I know everything, or I know the world. Okay, so one of the things, like one of the videos I watched, they were talking about the coils, and they did this super technical. I don't know how many it was on in the end. I don't remember. It was like a dozen, 16 or whatever, different coils from different manufacturers, OEM, aftermarket, everything else, and they compared them for, you know, a bunch of technical on the spark, the spark duration, you know, all of that kind of stuff, how much heat they would conduct, how long they would last, how much power, you know, relative power that they could handle, and everything else. Okay, I mean, it was, I think it was, I want to say it's like a 40-50 minute video, and I watched the whole thing. So like, that was one of the things that got me into them, as I was, you know, I would research the products that they had, and I would see how much development they put into them. So like, speaking about the coils, so I got their whole coil kit, and you can see they got this nice, really nice anodized rail here, and what it's a whole kit. It's not just one little thing, and again, it's their whole. They make it so easy for you. So all right, so you have your rail that holds the coils and everything else, but that you'll see on their site says, oh, it also works with VCAM. Oh, cool. So now you know, well, if you're going to do this, it also fits with the VCAM. Oh, that's great information. On top of that, they have this beautiful harness you see right here that eliminates the igniter. So the little igniter that's at the, you know, the back of the coil cover right there. So it plugs right into that, and then that eliminates that. And then through all their research, they found that the R35 coils, the performance of them, not only performance, but cost, not only cost, but then also availability. So all the things down the line that make a really good performance part, you know, because, okay, so we all know things will fail eventually, okay? But one, they take forever to fail, or, you know, their fail rate's super low. They support a ton of power. Their website said something like 2,600 horsepower, something ridiculous for what these coils can help support, okay? So they did all that research, everything else. So they have these R35 coils that come with it. But again, to help you with everything else, they have replacement boots, okay, replacement boots that then fit for the RB. So it's this complete kit that you can get that, again, will support, you know, hopefully what your goal is, unless, you know, you're going bigger and badder. And then, of course, they have options for that too. One of the things, I got all excited and skipped ahead. So if you guys haven't been following along, or one of the goals for Project Shinigami is, the direction I'm going is for time attack. Initially, I was going to drive it and do a bunch of street stuff and, you know, slowly build it and all of that, and then take it to the track a little bit and finally work my way there. Well, when you get to this point and you've already, you know, blown a motor basically, well, you might as well just jump all the way in. So, like I said, 2.8 stroker, big single turbo. What I'm going to attempt to do is you know, of course, it depends on the track, depends on the tune and everything else. But what I'd like to do for the car is I'd like to be in between like a 600 and 800 wheel horsepower, okay? And I'll attempt to always keep that the same. If you know, you see me on dyno or anything else, I'll always try and reference it as wheel horsepower just so there's no confusion. But the direction for the R32 is to be in between that 6 and 800 range, and it to be usable. That was one of the discussions I had with HKS, one of the other turbos I was going to get from them. And I was talking with them, and they're like, no, that's not what you want. If you were looking for this at this amount, you want this turbo instead. And you guys can see, I talked about that turbo and everything else. And it's, you know, again, I want it usable for the track. I'm looking for, you know, that mid to high RPM range where that's where I'm making the power. I'm not just making peak power in the last, 1,000 RPMs or anything like that. I need more usable. So that was part of the discussion. And again, the parts that you see on the table here are gonna be able to support that. So the coil setup and everything else, that'll support well above more than likely where I'll ever get with the R32 or want to be with the R32 either. So again, I'll go through the PRP stuff. The one thing that's not engine related that's up here that I got was this billet piece here. This huge bracket that you see right here, Hikest Delete. So I decided early on, again, with a lot of research and talking to people, once you get into the higher horsepower range and you're on track and everything else and doing time attack type stuff, most everybody eliminates or deletes the Hikest setup on the R32s. So decided early on that was something I was going to do. So I got, again, quality piece from PRP. So Hikest Delete. The other thing I'm going to do that's not on the table that I already have is ABS Delete. And I'm sure we can talk back and forth about that, but for my driving style and for what I want to do, that's the other thing. So I'm going to do ABS Delete, Hikest Delete, and again, it fits my driving style and the way I want to go. So you guys, anywhere down the line, if you have any comments, please make sure and drop them. If you have any experience with the parts, let's have that discussion. It's no different than when I'm out at Cars and Coffee and I'm like, hey, what do you guys think of this car or anything else? So if you're new to my channel and you haven't seen that before, drop those comments. I love to have discussion in the comments. I try and respond to all of them. I definitely read all of them the best I can. But I try and respond to all of them and have discussions, or even sometimes we'll end up with a discussion on the side, and you can DM me on IG and we'll talk about it. So if as I'm going through any of this, you guys have any questions, if you have any experience or anything else, please drop those comments and we can talk about it. Not only it'll help me, but it'll help anybody else watching this video that then goes down through the comments, and it almost ends up as a forum as long as we're not arguing and everything else. But anyways, so coming down through, I've got this nice pretty purple anodized piece from PRP. This, if you guys don't know, is for the back of the block. It's a head drain or a drain where the top, you guys probably can't see it, it says oil and the bottom says water. So this allows you to drain, and again, in the RBs, it's one of their areas that they have issues, and as you're accelerating and everything else, everything's forced to the back. Well, one of my challenges, especially since I had the issue with the oil pump, is oil control, temperature of the oil control, everything else like that. So if you guys haven't seen my other ones or just don't remember, I've already got You know, Tomei high flow oil pump. I got a baffle kit, extended oil pan, you know, so I'm adding additional flow, additional capacity, and it's all about trying to control the oil and the oil temp and everything else, so I don't have the same problem I had. So the drain, again, is one of those items. So the head drain will then allow me to drain back into the pan and recirculate everything, and hopefully keep it cool and not have the same issue that we've already had. So that's another one off the PRP. Again, you can see that's my theme, black and purple, you know. So most everything under the hood will be black, a couple highlights of purple. If you guys don't know why, that's an initial D thing. The aura that went around the R32 that Project Shinigami is based on, the aura of the character and the car was purple. So that's where I got the purple from. And then everything else, just nice and subtle, it'll be black. So moving down the line, I got their trigger kit, and I got their V2 race trigger kit. And this is, again, supposed to support somewhere around 1,000 horsepower, you know, give or take. So I'll be under that, no problem. Again, that's another weak point in the RBs that everybody seems to, you know, have issues with. So I'm just going to get ahead of that. And I've got two other items I'm waiting for to come from Australia. I've got one that's from PRP specifically. I ordered both the items from PRP, but one of them is their fuel rail kit. And again, this is one of the things I love is, you know, yeah, they put the research in and everything else, but then they make it super convenient. So they have a fuel rail kit. It's not just the fuel rail. So it's the fuel rail, it's the injectors, it's a regulator, it's a drop-in pump, like it's the whole kit. So again, make my life super easy. I've got that on order, and then I've got a turbo manifold on order. And my thing with that, there was only a couple companies that made it. There were a couple I came across, a couple guys I talked to at SEMA that could custom make one, or, you know, kind of make a one-off. But I wanted something that was kind of, I guess, a little bit more off the shelf and easy to get a hold of. And there's a company, there's 6 Boost out of Australia, and they make a turbo manifold that takes the turbo and moves it forward in the engine bay. If you guys haven't seen the way the RBs are set up and the way like a single turbo normally goes, normally it's crammed like right up against the strut tower, and like there's just no room, and literally like the turbo, like a lot of guys will put a turbo blanket on it and everything else, and it just like sits and like literally is just touching the strut tower, and I didn't want that. I didn't want it for room, but, you know, 2, I'm going to be running it on the track. It's going to be super hot. I don't want it sitting on the strut tower the whole time. I want it to be able to breathe, I guess. I don't know how you want to phrase that, but, you know, so the forward mount manifold moves it kind of behind the headlight, but sits it forward of that strut tower. So I've got one of those on order. That was I'm waiting on those 2 things that come from Australia. But those are the last couple big items, along with what you see up here, to really, you know, be able to put this car back together. Coming down through, I'm saving this one for last. One of the other things I had to upgrade, one of the other directions I had to go was my R32 had a standalone ECU, and it had an older link setup. And speaking with a bunch of people, doing my research and everything else, I was told that the older unit just probably wouldn't keep up with what I needed to do. So it was time to upgrade. I kind of wanted to stay with Link, but talking with everybody, talking about the support and everything else, everybody started steering me towards, almost everybody, how that goes, towards haltech. And there were a couple reasons in the end that kind of put me over the edge, and that's the direction I wanted to go. One was the support. So being able to reach out to them, if I needed tune correction, if I needed them to look at something, that's one thing. One of the other things that I really liked was straight plug and play for the rest of my harness. That, again, just super simple, make my life easy. So this is specific to the R32, plug and play for the harness and everything else. That was one of the things, again, that helped push me this way. One of the other things was it was a random encounter that I had that it's one of those special things. So like I was in Japan. I was at Daikoku doing one of the night meets at the PA, and I bumped into a group, and the guy was a builder and a tuner out of Florida. And we just started talking and everything else, and I find out that, again, he's a builder and tuner, but for RBs and 2Js. And I'm like, okay, well, one, completely random. I'm out in the middle of Japan, out in the middle of the night, out at the PA, and I bump into this guy. And not only that, but he builds RBs and tunes RBs. So I was talking with him and everything else, and I gave him the rundown of the direction I was trying to go and what I was thinking, and he's like, look, this is what you want to do. This is what we do. It's tried and true. It works great. You're not going to have any problems. And he just started rattling off, you want to do this. So like it's 10 o'clock at night in Japan, and I'm literally texting my engine builder back here in the US all this info, and I'm like, don't worry about it, I'll explain it later, just I need this info. But that was one of the other things that in the end kind of brought me over to the direction, and made me want to go with haltech for this setup. So again, easy use, easy to get the parts and the support and everything else I need. So there's nothing worse than having to wait weeks or months on end if you have a problem or you have a missing some part that fails, or like a sensor or something, and it puts you out of commission for months. That's not what you want. So moving down through the line, down on the end, I've got a couple OS Geiken goodies down here. The one, I got an adjustable set of cam gears, and there's a ton of different options. I got this just in case the tuner needed it, and the tuner was like, hey, this was the last little bit he needed. I didn't want to be missing something simple like that. So there's a bunch to choose from. I'm, again, OS Geiken, so you see, I was already going to go with their clutch, and I saw they made a cool set of adjustable cam gears, so I ended up with those two. But then you see this big boy behind that, and I would pick it up, but I'd probably drop it or do something embarrassing like that. So I ended up with their, I wanted to try their clutch out. For the most part, I have only ever seen good stuff from OS Geiken. Everybody likes to run their stuff. Now, here's going to be the debate, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of comments on this and everything else. There were a bunch of clutch options to go with, and everything from the basic to full race, full drag, whatever else. But reading through and talking with them, I decided to go with their STR clutch. Now, there were definitely heavier options and everything else, but in their description and in the discussion, their thing with their STR clutch is, you know, it still has, you know, super high grab and everything else, but gives you a softer pedal. And if any of you guys have ever driven, you know, like a drag clutch or anything else, and or tried to like drive it on the street, or, you know, I've had to push that clutch in and out 100 times, it feels like your leg's gonna fall off. So one of their things with the STR clutch is, one, it's still streetable, but two, in like endurance style racing, where you're constantly going in and out of corners, you're constantly having to shift gears and everything else, if you're running or having to do those many shifts, your leg's going to get tired. You don't want, you know, to fatigue, you know, your leg, and that to causing it, you know how that goes down the line. But anyways, so that was one of the reasons I went with this. In the end, we'll see if it technically holds enough power and everything else, which I think it will, and I think it'll handle everything I need to, speaking with them and, you know, from the research I've done. But you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know, you know, if you guys have used this clutch in your experience and everything else. I'm really looking forward to it because it's supposed to handle the power, but still give me a streetable clutch feel, and that's sometimes invaluable. You know, you get stuck in traffic, or, you know, I still want to drive the car on the street every now and then. I still want to take it to the Cars and Coffee meets and, you know, hang out with you guys and everything else with it. So you guys, let me know what you think of that. Let me know what's your experience at OS Geiken. Again, I've only ever heard good stuff, and this will be the first time I get to run them. I just hadn't had the opportunity with my last couple cars that I needed it. So now I definitely need it. So you guys, let me know what you think of that. And then that brings us to this big boy. Now, we're going to talk about it and everything else, but the one thing I wanted to say was it really is very very pretty, I guess we can say pretty. You know, it's really well crafted. The welds look great on it, and it really does look good in this finish. But this will be the last time you see it in this finish. This, right after this video, is going out and getting Cerakoted. If you guys aren't familiar with Cerakoting, it's not just paint, but it has to do, again, with trying to control temp. So you can get it to either hold in heat like you would on an exhaust, or you can get it to help dissipate and eliminate it. So I'm going to send this out to Cerakoting. It's going to be black. It's going to be black. It'll go with the rest of the theme again. Everything under the hood will be either black or have a couple pops of purple. But yeah, so this is going to go to Cerakoting, get that done, and then, well, you guys know what it is, right? So there were a couple choices. Again, I went with high quality, a good name, and you know, other people that have used it and have, you know, had nothing but good stuff to say about it. This is the Greddy intake surge tank. This is their bigger one. They make a smaller and a bigger one. This is the bigger one that then utilizes this gigantic throttle body. So I think the technical on it is like 4.1 liters or something. I think that's what it is. So, but this is the other. Look, it comes with this gigantic 90 millimeter throttle body, which is supposed to help with mid and high range, again, on the track. So, I did actually like it in this color and everything else, but it doesn't fit the rest of the car. So, plus, it's all about controlling temp and everything for me. So, it's going to go get Cerakoted. I do actually really like the way it looks, and I mean you can tell how these welds are like artwork. So, but you guys, let me know what you think about this. There were a couple other companies I could have chose, but Gretti's local. You know, so I do like supporting. Well, I mean, I have Gretti here in the U.S., but Japan product too. But Gretti is actually local down here in SoCal, so they're easy to talk to and just kind of reach out if you ever have any questions or anything. I've only ever had good interaction with them. And again, if you just skipped ahead, I had to pay for all these parts. I'm not getting anything free, and I'm not being sponsored for any of this. So that, for the most part, is everything I got for this run. So where we're going from here is I have to send the block off. I have to get the block honed for the piston size and everything else. That should be a relatively quick process, relatively quick. At the same time, they're going to weld on my oil pan extension, and then after that, it's hopefully time for reassembly. So I'm going to do my best. If I can get any of that for you and show you that process, I'm definitely going to try to. If I can show you the honing process, that's pretty cool. Definitely the engine getting assembled and put back together. And then after that, we're going to have a break-in period, and we're going to be able to do the final tune on it. So get the pre-tune, break-in, the post-tune after that, and then hopefully get on track pretty soon. So then once we're on track, it's all fun from there. So you guys, thanks for hanging out to the end. Thank you for your support. Not just with my project builds. Again, not just the R32, not just the Miata, but thank you for your support in all my other videos, all my Cars and Coffee, everywhere else I go. I'm doing more travel for you guys this year, so headed to the East Coast in a couple weeks, headed to Japan in a couple weeks after that. So I'm kind of headed all over the place. Hopefully, I'm trying to do Australia too, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you for all your support with that. If you're new to my channel, if you like what I do, check out my other videos. Hit that subscribe, hit that notification, and it helps me keep growing this channel. So I appreciate you guys. Again, thank you for everything. I'll see you guys at the next one. All right, thanks.